Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. I'm my buddy Rhett here. Got an almond for Rhett. Oh man, so I think I slept like 20 hours this weekend probably, and I am still sleepy. Then I took the dogs for a short walk this morning. It's definitely not like I got overheated on just a short little walk, so I guess I'm not feeling well. Something is up with me. It's probably like 80 degrees outside, I would guess, here in the 76, but I bet you it feels like 83. I say high of 91. Feels like 90 right now. Yeah, I guess it does make sense that I got a little overheated. Um, but let's see, 10% the of the moon, July 10th is going to be our next full moon. So that is that. Let's see, what's our humidity today? Humidity is 82%. It says the dew point 72. I don't know what that means. But anyways, here we go. So this code is finally starting to make some sense. It was pretty brutal for a while there. Um, but it doesn't seem like I need current request anymore, right? It seems like this should be like all requests zero length, right? Because all requests has all them. Is it zero or length minus one? Okay, we're pushing it. Yeah, so it is. It's actually the all requests, and then zero would give me the very first one. So let's just make sure that'll work. So, hello, how are you? See zero records because the very first one didn't have anything. So, but and this used to be the only way to actually get the last record, but requests length and minus one since it has. So if there's 10 records, it'll get the ninth entry, which is the 10th record. Hello, how are you? And see, now it's matched up. And it seems like we could do the same thing down here. We don't, so then I think we can get rid of current request completely, which is probably a good idea. Request all transcripts. It goes in there. Hello, how are you? Yep, so that's working. So let's go ahead and get rid of current. Just we just don't need the noise. It's not actually doing anything, so probably shouldn't keep it. Here we go. I gave you your nut, didn't I? Yeah, that was the first thing I did. Hello, how are you? All right, so that is good. Hi, so that is. That's interesting. This last one had so many. I said, all right, so that was good. And stopped it right in the middle of a word, and now we got all these values. Wonder, let's try that again. Hello, how are you? What is going? That's interesting. So things that I mean, these are identical. And then, hello, how are you? What is 97? Oh, just slightly less confident. No, maybe more. 97219. Oh no, I think it's actually more confident of this one. Anyways, so that's good. Now it probably makes a lot of sense to, um, instead of what I was kind of going down the road of is like looping through everything, but it seems like what I want to do is actually make this into like a component. From here, basically, yeah, from here, I guess from here to here, probably should be its own component that gets a request. And at first it'll get the last request, but so basically we want a continuous result component item. So, and I think that that does sort of map now with kind of how it's just sort of one layer deeper than discrete. And if we add another component, we sort of, that gives me a bit of a warm fuzzy because it's like, oh, okay, that it kind of makes sense. But we would go one deeper. So let's go to our package. Package. And anytime I go into my package, I always close everything else. Crafty TT admin. See, that doesn't seem right. I don't know why it opened that one. That's weird. Let's close others. Yeah, that was weird because that's not in this directory, so I have no idea why it found that one. Basically, we want to do a continuous result item. I'll add the word item to the end of this. And item, and then we are going to run this. This result and item. And basically we'll do this. npm run misspelled continuous. And do I have an equal in there? Jeez. Continuous. No. Maybe I didn't misspell it. I guess I had that equal sign in there. And so I'm expecting it to show up as a sibling up here to this continuous result. Yep, there it is. All right, so now we're going to import this component into its parent component that it will eventually use. And I think it makes sense. Result component, it's got the blue one, so we can just hit this and tell it to import it. And then I think it's upset because it's never being used. So let's go back to our item. App continuous result item. I like the name of that. And just come over here. We'll save that. Put it right there. It's going to go in right here. And So what we want to do is see the text. It's going to be like app continuous result works or something like that. Let's go back to this view. Wait. I guess that was an error that we were getting before, but now that's cleared up, I think. Hello. How are you? All right. So basically now what we want, I'm guessing we want to make this a signal. I guess now that I think about it, is actually, is it up here? No, yeah, here's where we loop through it. So it almost feels like this should be that, but I hate having like sort of the table, the HTML out here, and then like dependent HTML down here. And it doesn't seem like there's any need for that, since this isn't really, this is all of this up here, so this isn't really part of that. So I wonder if I can table there and then put another table here. I don't know how that's going to look. It seems like it should be okay. Hello, how are you? Yeah, so that works. We have our two tables separated now because they aren't really directly related to each other. So now from here to here, I think is my component. So I guess what we'll do is, there's really just no good way of doing this without, I don't really like having things broken, but like I don't think there's any good way. So we're just going to call this request. And then I guess that'll work. We just need to feed in a request now. And I can't really remember exactly how to do that. I think we have it in, well, does discrete take a, let's see, discrete. Yeah, it doesn't have an input. I think it's the little input, and then let's go ask ChatGPT. I set up an Angular component signals input question mark. Okay, so basically like this with the little I. But for ours, that's going to be called, and it's not a string. Let's see, continuous result item. Ours is not a string, it is a, guess, yeah, it's a continuous result array. Just a single array. Not an array of arrays, but an array. Item. Okay, this needs to come from core. Then this guy needs to be like this. And then I believe, and it needs to be brought in. And I believe we can initialize it. Equals array. What? That is a weird error. And it was okay when it was a string, right? I think it was okay before I even assigned it. Oh, maybe you put it in here. How do I initialize the input? Computed. Oh, okay, this will throw an error. Okay, so that's what you cannot. Oof, that's kind of a bummer. All right, so you can't do that. And I guess we'll have to say or undefined. And this is called a result. And then I think in here, I guess we need to wrap this thing. Let's see, percentage, is that? Oh, at if request. Is it? Oh, I think it's result, not request. What the heck was it? Oh, it is result, yeah. Did not save, but maybe I didn't save over here. Okay, I don't understand why. Result. Now, what is the problem here? Oh, maybe it's like that. There we go. Yeah, the signals, you always have to run it. I always forget that. All right, so now result is in here. It accepts the result. And then I think we can say so I think it's called result is equal to, oops. Okay. So I I guess this needs to go up here before the for loop. There we go. And then we want to pass it in the very last one, with the ultimate goal of basically adding like a paging or view all sort of, and view all sort of behavior. Now let's hit save and see what we get. Got something broken. Let's see. Console. What the heck? It says all request length is not. And the, oh, it's because the very, I don't know. Okay, so what happens when it's undefined? Okay, so it does seem to work. It does seem to work. All right. But it didn't find anything. So now we want it to be, what is, I guess we need to check the input. Okay, so I named it result. I believe we can make it required too. Let's see. So it's called result, which I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, I forgot to put these, which is what tells it to go look on the to calculate it from the component, not to like take whatever value you have in here. There we go. All right. Hello. How are you? Okay, this is weird. All right, so theoretically, if I've done this correctly, theoretically, if I've done this correctly, I can just delete everything in here, right? Because result item has all of that. Yeah. All right, so let's just delete everything from the table through the table. And let's just see. Hello, how are you? So that's really good, right? So we have like, so now this is in its own view, you know, like its own item, its own component. So that means that like when we're working with the component stuff, like all we have to do is think about what's in the component, not what's in the list, which is a good thing. So I think that's a good place for today. I think that tomorrow or next Saturday, the ideal will be to sort of maybe add a, like, this is what you get if you haven't clicked this link here. And if you have clicked this link here, then it does like a for loop over all of them, feeding each request into these continuous result items. So we'll see how that works next week. Anyways, oh, Flu, how are you? Blue, how are you? Hello. Clue, how are you? That's interesting. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.